history of the drunk calls on the iPhone, and then the problems with the iPad, and now with the 4G and then the keynote. It was, like I said, I think I'll reserve judgment on that until the phone actually releases, and I guess that's next week.
Yeah.
And see what happens from there. But I'm still leaning towards the network, to be totally honest with you. But we'll see.
No, it's I don't want to spend another 10 minutes talking about signal degradation and everything, but this new design of the iPhone will really be a test, because a lot of people have been hypothesizing for the last 6 to 18 months that it's not just AT&T's network. It's some weird combination of limitations of the iOS devices in combination with weaknesses on AT&T that are just coalescing to form some kind of a perfect dropped call storm. And if that is what it is, the iPhone being redesigned in this way, although, did you kind of get the impression from Steve's demeanor when he said, when he started talking about generous offers from AT&T and other stuff, that they were just unilaterally pissed at AT&T?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought that too. So.
Yeah, it's like when I look at this new design, what I honestly think is Apple went back to the drawing board and spent the last year, maybe the last 18 months, redesigning the iPhone so that it wouldn't have problems with AT&T's network, to get rid of a lot of the bad stuff. And then after going and spending all the resources doing that, AT&T turned around and basically stabbed them in the back and made the device unusable. I can't ever prove that happened, but it almost seems like that's exactly what's happened here.
Now, do you know anyone that uses an iPhone on T-Mobile? I mean, I know it can be done.
I know it can be done. Personally, no. I've seen some people on YouTube talk about it, and I know those people have just been screwed with the iPhone 4. So you know about that, right?
Yeah.
Because what lets you do that was they were using the same SIM cards, and the iPhone 4 uses the micro SD cards. So, I mean, I guess you can get a kid and reprogram a micro SD card using your T-Mobile SIM, but that's, you know, federal regulators don't look too kindly on people that buy that equipment. Convinced you can't possibly be doing anything legitimate.
I just wonder if the T-Mobile users that are using an iPhone suffer the same amount of drop calls and connectivity issues that AT&T customers are dealing with.
That would be a really interesting statistic to find out, actually. If anybody watching knows, I'd love to hear on that, actually. Okay, what do you think about these other new features, like I mean, obviously this thing is A4 powered. We all knew that was going to be the case. The gyroscope, I know some people who are just, oh yay, I get 6 degrees of axis, and I know other people are like, you know, was 3 really that imprecise? Hello?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still at a loss as to what this thing is really good for, outside of games. I mean, is that its only purpose, is to add another dimension to the gaming aspect of the iPhone?
Well, what it will be useful for is with like when you're turning the device to like simulate turning in a game, yeah. But I can also see GPS using this. Because here's the thing. if you lose your GPS signal, which does happen a lot on GPS things, then your degree of accuracy just went from 15 feet to 15 meters, which in some cases worse, depending on what other things you're talking about. But if you have absolute positioning, which you can get with six axes between the Django and the gyroscope,
right,
then if you write it to keep track of it, it can still keep that same degree of accuracy because it knows where it was at the second it lost signal, and it can keep track pretty dang close to where it's gone, even if it has no actual idea. So there's some software to be wrote to do that, but I can see position tracking stuff getting a lot more precise, because assuming it has data, it's going to have cell phone tower range, so it can be triangulating itself. And between using a gyro would let you keep track of the rest of that, even in a car, even moving 40 miles down the road, and the altimeter won't.
That'll be interesting to see what developers do with that thing. But at this point, I'm still thinking it's more a novelty, if you will.
It's going to depend what
games.
I think it's honestly going to depend what developers do with it, and I think that's the whole reason Apple made that API fully accessible to developers, because I think they looked at this and said, "Hey, this is a cool little gimmicky thing. Let's turn it over and see what people can do with it." Rather than
it's not an actual gyroscope. It's just they're an electronic implementation of it. It's not a true gyroscope. So.
Yeah, so it's like it would actually be interesting to see how accurate it is versus an actual gyroscope. They said bigger battery, but I'm not seeing the unproven life. It's 6 to 7 hours.
I'm thinking that a bigger battery, even if that's the case, it's going to be offset by all of these new things that they're adding in there.
Yeah, it's like when you look at the chart of the life expectancy, it's still 6 to 7 hours.
Right.
And talking, it's the same battery life expectancy. So new, bigger, better battery to take advantage, so the A4 processor won't kill the thing in 5 minutes. It's like, okay, yeah, we have time to go on that. Now on to this video stuff. I haven't seen any specs. I mean, I know it's supposedly 720p capable, but 720 means a lot of things.
Right.
I'm filming this. I'm filming me on this on a camera that supposedly does 720p. I don't know if it actually does. The cameras I was using before are 130 line. And you would never guess those cameras were little crappy 130p cameras. The difference was the data rate and the way they were captured allowed me to do simulated 480 and 720 in such a way that it didn't matter that they were little 130 line cameras.
Right.
And I don't know how. I mean, what I want to see is what these 720p videos that the iPhone's filming look like, either on my HD TV or on my computer screen. Is there even a way to get them off?
I think it's interesting that Apple has, to my knowledge, still hasn't posted any video on their site with actual video recorded from this iPhone, unretouched video. Now there's photos of the camera, the 5-megapixel camera, that actually say unretouched photos, but I think there's one video, but it doesn't specifically state that it's an unretouched video. So Who knows?
Okay, we got to pause.